the most painful form of rejection for a man is not from a woman, but from himself. It's the voice inside that tells him he's not good enough, that he's giving too much, and getting too little in return. It's the feeling of being lost at sea, of pouring all your energy into a relationship that offers nothing back. But what if there's a way to turn this pain into power? What if there's a path to becoming the anchored man? The man who doesn't need validation from anyone, not even himself. We live in a hypergamous world where women instinctively seek the highest quality man they can get. And the more a man tries to please her, the more elusive their approval becomes. It's a game where the rules are constantly changing, where the prize at the end is never what it seems. But what if instead of playing by these rules, we could write our own? What if instead of chasing external validation, we could find it within ourselves? In this video, I want to show you how to become the anchored man, the man who doesn't need validation from anyone. We'll start by looking at Schopenhauer's theory on hypergamy and how it affects us as men. Then we will see how Jung's idea of individualism can help us find our true selves and our true essence. Finally, I will show you how to use any form of rejection as fuel to become stronger and more successful. Schopenhauer was a pessimist who believed that life is nothing but suffering. He thought that our instincts are nothing but tricks of evolution that make us pursue things that don't really matter, like sex and power. For Schopenhauer, women are just as driven by their instincts as men. In fact, he thought that hypergamy is one of their strongest instincts, which means that women are always looking for a man who is better than them. This is why he says that a woman will never be satisfied with a man who is just good enough. She will always want more. This can be depressing to hear, especially if you're already struggling in your love life. But here's the thing, Schopenhauer wasn't trying to be depressing. He was just being realistic. And realism is the first step to breaking free from the matrix. Once you realize that hypergamy is just a biological fact, you can stop wasting your time trying to beat it. Instead, you can focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Jung was a psychologist who lived in the early 1900s. He had some really interesting ideas about the human psyche, like the idea of the collective unconscious and the archetype, but the thing that I like the most about Jung is his idea of individuation is basically the process of becoming yourself. It's the process of integrating all the different parts of your personality into one coherent whole. Jung thought that everyone goes through this process, but it's especially important for men. Men are more likely to have what Jung calls a shadow, which is basically the dark side of the personality. It's the stuff that we don't want to admit about ourselves. So if you want to become the anchored man, you need to integrate your shadow. You need to face your pain, your trauma, your worst qualities, and transform them. Only then can you become whole, complete, and free. Hypergamy, the driving force of feminine nature, is a powerful motivator that can often leave modern men feeling like they are constantly playing a game where the goalposts keep moving. There's a war within, a conflict between the desire to chase external validation, particularly from women, and the longing for internal growth and peace. But here's the paradox. True masculine transformation doesn't lie in winning this game, but in transcending it. In this essay, we'll explore how to become the anchored man who remains steadfast in his purpose, undeterred by the shifting sands of external expectations. We'll draw upon the insights of Arthur Schopenhauer and Carl Jung to navigate this complex terrain, synthesizing their sometimes contrasting perspectives into a practical guide for men seeking to align with their deepest truths. Now, you might be wondering why we're turning to these two seemingly different minds. Schopenhauer was a firm believer in the power of instincts, particularly when it came to women. He argued that their hypergamous instincts are deeply ingrained in their nature, making it nearly impossible for them to resist the allure of pursuing partners of higher social status. On the other hand, Jung proposed a more hopeful path, a journey inward towards individuation, a process of integrating all aspects of the psyche to achieve wholeness. So how do we reconcile these seemingly conflicting viewpoints? In essence, both thinkers offer complementary pieces to the puzzle of the masculine journey. Schopenhauer's realism provides a much-needed dose of clarity in a world where romantic ideals often cloud our judgment. His insights serve as a map to navigate the treacherous waters of hypergamy, helping us avoid being swept away by its currents. Meanwhile, Jung's ideas offer a beacon of hope, illuminating the path towards wholeness and self-mastery. By embracing the process of individuation, we can find the strength and resilience to overcome the challenges posed by hypergamy and emerge as truly powerful men. In a nutshell, Schopenhauer warns of the pitfalls of playing the game, while Jung equips us with the tools to play the game well without losing ourselves. The first step in becoming the anchored man is to understand and accept Schopenhauer's hard truth about hypergamy. Women are biologically wired to seek out the best quality of man they can find, a drive deeply rooted in their survival instincts. This means that the quest for female validation can often feel like an endless uphill battle, and chasing after it can lead to a life of discontent and frustration. Instead of fighting against this natural order, Schopenhauer encourages us to transcend it by recognizing the futility of trying to beat the game. We free ourselves to pursue more meaningful pursuits. This may sound bleak to some, even cynical, but it's this very realism that sets the stage for our journey towards inner strength and resilience. To truly become the anchored man, we must first detach from the emotional turmoil that comes from trying to win the game on the field of hypergamy. Jung's concept of individuation offers us a way out of this cycle. It's a call to embark on a profound inner journey, one that leads us to the integration of all parts of our psyche, including our shadow self, our anima, our ego, and ultimately, our true core, the self. This journey begins with confronting and integrating our shadow, those hidden aspects of ourselves that we often try to deny or repress. By bringing these parts of ourselves into the light, we begin to heal old wounds and break free from the shackles of our conditioned selves. This process also involves integrating our anima, our feminine counterpart, which Jung saw as essential for the wholeness of the masculine psyche. By embracing our anima, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of the world and the people around us, including women. This integration allows us to interact with them in a more authentic and meaningful way, free from the manipulative tactics often employed in the hypergamous game. Through this journey of individuation, we come to realize that our true power lies in our ability to integrate all aspects of ourselves, not in our need for external validation. As we continue our journey, we encounter another critical aspect of the anchored man, his ability to welcome rejection without being broken by it. Fear of rejection is a wound that runs deep in most men's psyche, often stemming from early childhood experiences. But what if we were to reframe this fear and see rejection not as a setback, but as a redirection? Jung would argue that every experience, including rejection, carries with it a piece of our wholeness. By embracing rejection and integrating it into our journey, we become more whole and aligned with our true selves. This shift in perspective allows us to move forward with courage, knowing that each experience, positive or negative, contributes to our growth and evolution. As we become comfortable with rejection, we open ourselves up to the possibility of discovering hidden strengths and resources that lay dormant within us. The anchored man is deeply connected to his emotions, a quality that starkly contrasts with the stereotype of the unemotional, distant masculine ideal. This emotional intelligence enables him to navigate the complexities of human interaction with sensitivity and empathy, a trait that is often overlooked in discussions of masculinity. Being deeply moved internally doesn't mean being outwardly reactive. The anchored man understands the difference between healthy expression and destructive outburst. His emotional depth gives him a richness of experience that makes him genuinely magnetic and attractive. This internal emotional movement is balanced by his ability to remain outwardly unmoved, a quality that signals his strength and resolve. It's this combination of internal depth and external steadiness that truly defines the anchored man. This brings us to the fourth point, the importance of direction, autonomy, and consistency in the life of the anchored man. These three traits form the bedrock of his character and set him apart from those who chase after validation through manipulation and image projection. Direction refers to having a clear, long-term vision that guides his actions and choices. Autonomy means being detached from the need for external approval and validation. Consistency is the discipline to stay true to his vision and values regardless of external pressures or personal moods. Together, these traits form a powerful force that drives the anchored man forward, allowing him to weather the storms of hypergamy and emerge even stronger. And finally, we come to the heart of what it means to be the anchored man, the ability to remain steadfast in the face of external chaos, anchored in his own essence. This sense of grounding comes from a deep sense of self-mastery and the realization that true strength comes not from controlling others, but from controlling oneself. Jung's concept of the self, a state of being that transcends the ego, offers a glimpse into this state of inner peace. By embracing the journey of individuation and integrating all aspects of our psyche, we come closer to this state of wholeness and inner strength. It's from this place of deep inner alignment that the anchored man derives his power. He becomes the embodiment of Jung's masculine force, the logos, a driving, creative energy that moves forward with unwavering purpose. You might be thinking, okay, this all sounds good, but how do I actually get there? How do I go from feeling lost and directionless to becoming this anchored man? It's a question that many men ask, and the answer lies in the alchemical process of transformation, the ability to turn pain into power. Every experience, including rejection and failure, carries with it the potential for growth and strength. By embracing these experiences and integrating them into our journey, we become more resilient and wise. This is the essence of the masculine journey, a process of turning lead into gold, pain into power. And at the heart of this transformation lies the willingness to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. It's time to shatter the illusion that women are the sole arbiters of our happiness and success. While their presence can undoubtedly enrich our lives, their absence shouldn't diminish our worth. The anchored man realizes that he is the author of his own story, and that his happiness and fulfillment come from within. Sure, a loving partner can enhance our journey, but it's not a prerequisite for a life well lived. So what does this mean for you? For starters, it's about shifting your perspective. Instead of seeing rejection or loneliness as a setback, start viewing it as a redirection. It's a signpost guiding you back to yourself, urging you to become more whole and more aligned with your true purpose. The journey of the anchored man is a continuous process of growth and self. It's not about reaching a final destination, but about embracing a lifelong journey of learning, evolving, and becoming the best version of yourself. It's about recognizing that true strength comes not from dominating others, but from mastering yourself. In a world where hypergamy often takes center stage, it can be easy to feel like you're caught in a relentless game with shifting goalposts. But remember, the solution doesn't lie in fighting the game, but in rising above it. It's in becoming the anchored man, the man of direction, autonomy, and consistency. The man who remains steadfast in his purpose, unaffected by the external noise. This is the epitome of the masculine ideal. The man who, as Jung put it, steps into his rightful place in the world as an independent center of energy, ready to perform his function in the order of the universe. Arthur Schopenhauer taught us that life is full of suffering, and that happiness is a fleeting, almost illusory state. Yet Carl Jung offered a counterpoint to this bleak view. He showed us that through the process of we can find meaning and wholeness in our experiences, even in the midst of rejection and loneliness. Jung reminded us that life is not merely about enduring suffering, but also about embracing the journey towards wholeness. So the next time you face rejection or loneliness, don't despair. Remember, it's not a setback, but a redirection. Embrace it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to propel you forward on your journey. The anchored man is not the man who chases after fleeting moments of validation, but the man who stands firm in his purpose, come what may. I hope this video has been helpful. If you like this kind of content, please let me know by leaving a like, comment, or subscribing. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out more content. See you in the next one. Stay anchored, gents.